So, welcome. How have you been doing? How are you feeling?
Pretty good, dude. Pretty good. Excited to be here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to have you here.
Sweet.
Your first podcast you've ever done with someone else?
This is my first podcast ever done.
Ever
recorded.
This is basically your podcast virginity at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
No, like I've recorded one on my phone, but not like this.
Not like the whole setup.
Yeah, not like the setup.
All right. So a lot of people have been anticipating. I've been teasing them with saying that you were coming on. I didn't say you, but a guest coming on. So everybody's excited to hear
what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So welcome to episode 2 of season 1 of the Self Betterment Project. In this episode, I know I talk a lot in my podcast, but in this episode, it's all about you, Mr. Sai himself, right?
Thanks, man. Holy shit. This is like, are we in it? We're in it.
Yeah, we're in it. This is
okay.
We started.
Okay, all right, we're in it.
All right, we're in it. So
what's going on?
So what's going on? Okay, firstly, we have to set a toast to actually start the podcast.
Okay,
so,
let's do it.
This is coffee.
Toasting some coffee.
Toast
Cheers.
to a new season.
This is your second episode, eh? What was your first episode about?
My first episode is really about, so how the season works is that I explain a topic. So this season we're working with habits. I start off with the philosophy of habits. We start off with bigger trends than the reason for philosophy of the habit. So why should human beings ever be worried about this? And then we go narrow and narrow to actual physical habits that you can do and how to manifest the habits and come to a physical thing that you can do to change your life.
Yeah.
So this happens in a span of 4 months.
Holy shit.
Right.
Okay.
So it's very structured. So the last episode was an introduction of the season and everything, as well as a little episode on like the philosophy of habits.
Okay.
Why humanity has habits, and Aristotle and all these other guys.
Aristotle, eh?
Yeah.
Damn, that's deep. That's deep.
I'm telling you.
Oh shit, we're getting somewhere. Okay.
Okay, so how's the coffee?
Coffee's good, man. I like it. Can't complain. It's
Thank you.
nice.
I'm paying for this coffee.
Yeah, $30. $30 whole dollars.
It's worth it. You can get all the coffee. Even if you don't want to come onto a podcast, just
get some coffee and then cut. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. That's what
I mean, you're paying for it, so
might as well. I'm just gonna bring my entire extended family, bro. just get
like a whole room filled with people just drinking coffee.
That's what I'm saying. Because what did they gonna say? I'm paying for it.
Yeah, that'd actually be lit, dude.
Yeah.
You should just have a podcast where it's just sipping coffee.
Just a coffee ASMR video.
Yeah. It's like 15 people in the frame and they're all just drinking coffee.
And they can't say nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, Sai, is there another name you want us to refer you as?
No, Sai's good. Sai's good. Cool. Yeah.
So, Sai, what have you been up to? Because I know I've talked to you last, when? I was
UTSC, dude.
I think
randomly, yeah.
3 to 4 years. 4 years.
No, I don't think 4 years, dude. 4 years would be in first year, dude.
Yeah. No.
I've definitely seen you after that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's second year. Maybe 3 years.
3 years?
It's been a while. No,
it can't be second year. I wasn't even in second year. After my first year, I left.
Oh shit.
So who are you talking to?
I don't know, some other guy.
This is my guest on the podcast. I talked to you yesterday, though.
Yeah. So and he's like, yeah, I'm starting a podcast. I'm like, whoa, cool. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it turned out it wasn't you.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, shit.
It was some other guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck. Yeah, I know. Maybe I have a common face.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But,
yeah. And you're both starting podcasts.
Okay. Coincidentally. Hold on. Coincidentally, but am I still in the frame? Okay, good. So, right. Okay, now, but regardless though, I haven't talked to you for a while. What have you been up to?
I don't know, a lot of stuff, dude. I think after first year, I got really into habit formation. I started reading a lot of books and how to actually get shit into your life. Mm-hmm. And I realized it's really the patterns that you have day to day. That's the most important thing. Willpower, all that stuff, I think is really dumb. I think some days you'll have a lot of willpower, some days you won't. Mm-hmm. But the real thing is the patterns that you have in place. If you're brushing your teeth every day, it's hard not to brush your teeth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. You build these habits so you don't have to use willpower.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about willpower is good enough. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like strength. You will eventually burn out of it.
Yeah. No, you have to use willpower wisely. If you're at a table, you might have to tell the waiter to get the breadsticks off the table. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Instead of just sitting there burning the willpower of not reaching for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So willpower is a muscle that you can train.
Yeah.
But like habit formation is like, I think, way more important, because if you have these habits in place, you don't even need to burn willpower to get shit done, which is like the key. I think like that's actually the key.
Yeah, that makes sense, because that way it's a lot more easier. And on top of that, it's kind of like, in my opinion, I think, because the more you get your brain and your body, as well as your more biological aspects involved with your goals, it's a lot better. Because this is why a lot of people may like struggle. Say you want something, like say you want to go to the gym, you have a goal to do something, but then your bad habits keep coming back. So you may want consciously, but you may want something. Like your body wants something else.
That's actually like most people. Like people don't like want to get fat, but like they can't resist the cake. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And habit formation is kind of like your body coming on board with your idea. That way you don't.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. It like keeps you on track. There's actually like a lot of studies on this. Like, have you read the book Atomic Habits?
No, I've heard of it.
Yeah, that book was fucking amazing. Like, I was actually thinking of writing a book. Like, I wrote an article on this. I was thinking of writing a book on this, and I read Atomic Habits, and everything that I would put in a book is in this fucking book. So I was like, okay.
Somebody's already done it.
Yeah, someone's already fucking done it. But no, it's a popular study. Like, a lot of people have done it, actually. Like, Tony Robbins did it, James Clear did it. Like, a lot of famous, successful people have done this. So, yeah, habit formation, I think, is, like, one of the biggest keys you can get into your life to, like, completely change your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. But okay, hold on. Let's backtrack.
Okay, let's backtrack.
Okay, because we're already into habits.
Deep shit, yeah.
Yeah, we're already in. Yeah. But I want the audience to get to know you a little bit more.
Okay, cool.
As a person, maybe you like you go to school.
I am. Yeah. Yeah. I think I go to school. Yeah.
You think you go to school?
No,
so
I definitely go to school.
What's going on?
No, I definitely go to school. Yeah.
So, where are you going right now? What do you do?
I go to U of T. I study computer science. I'm kind of a nerd. A little bit of a nerd.
Study CS. That's
it's kind of
nerd.
It's full blown nerd. Yeah. Do a lot of math, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so along the way, then you started really getting into self improvement, things like that.
I think I've always been into self-improvement. It's actually crazy. Like, I've been into self-improvement since I was, like, 16 or, like, 15. But, like, I never really took any action. I was actually, like, always kind of entitled. And, like, I had, like, some sort of ego where I would just be like, I'm pretty much really smart, so let me just try to minimize my time and effort by, like, calculating the best, most optimal play to make myself, like, just chill and, like, I don't do much effort, but I'm getting like the rewards for it. Yeah. And I realized that was so stupid, because execution is the game. Like, literally executing is the fucking game.
Yeah.
And I learned that shit, like, I think in second year or like third year.
Yeah, man. I feel that too, because I was like that too for the longest time.
Yeah, if university doesn't fuck you up, like, have you went to university?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you get to university, I was like, oh shoot, I got to change up my game, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because even especially now in my life, I've been really executing a lot of the plans that I've been growing for the past 4 years, right? So a lot of people may see this through the YouTube channel or me doing this and that. Like, I'll always do a little bit. It's not because I'm starting these things, but I'll do a little bit just to get an understanding of it and then plan. But definitely, executing is one of the most, if not the most important.
I think it is. I think it's like, if you're not executing, like, what are you doing? Like, ideas are great. Like, you can be a really fucking smart guy, but if you're not executing, you're just like going down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing's coming into fruition, right? This is why somebody said even a smart man who doesn't work is still gonna fail against a dumb man who works.
Exactly. Yeah, like in life, like if you look at like life as a span, like there's no staying still. Like, you're either going a little bit up, a lot up, a little bit down, or like a lot down.
There's no middle point.
Yeah, there's no like staying still. Yeah. So like if you think you're staying still, you're actually going like a little bit down.
That's crazy. I've never seen somebody else like actually articulate my internal thoughts.
Yeah,
the exact way I told myself a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I read a lot, watch a lot of YouTube videos on this stuff. Like, there's a stuff that
a lot of the other inspirational podcasts. Well, even regarding all the other podcasts, like bringing this podcast to life, to having you on board to the podcast, it really, I think, encourages me, or rather the people who listen, to have a kind of like a little mentality on it, because a lot of people, when it comes to self-improvement in general, may not even. I've met people who don't even care. Like, I met drones.
Yeah, no, bots. They call them bots.
Like PCs in the game.
No, like, I've seen it in like bouncers, dude. Like, bouncers literally in front of a club. Like, I've seen them like years later. Like, I know I'm not that old, so
I go to one club. That one.
No, like, I've definitely like been like drove by them and stuff. Like, I've seen them like years later. And it's the same bouncer, but like he just has like a little bit more crow's feet, or like a little bit. He looks just a little bit more tired. You know what I mean? And it's just like, holy shit, this guy's moving around like furniture.
Yeah.
Like, he's fucking furniture, dude.
This guy's IKEA.
Yeah, this guy's IKEA. Yeah, dude, I was just like, holy shit, like, that's crazy. This guy's doing the same thing that he's been doing for years.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just, like, that's insane to me.
I have no idea how it's like. I confronted an NPC once.
A bot? Okay,
yeah. And then, because a huge part of me is all the Self Betterment Project. And, like, how to always push yourself forward kind of thing. And I tried to ask him, it's like, why do you not even care as much? And he's like, why should I care? I'm happy with what I got. So it's really interesting because I think that's when a aspect of the Self Betterment Project revealed itself to me, kind of thing. Because I realized the project is nice, I motivate, I influence, but like really bring philosophy to habit formation, to bring people on, to share experiences, to get somebody to do something. But a huge part of the Self Betterment Project is simply tapping on their brains, just to be like, hey, there's a little more to life than you may think right now.
Yeah.
And you hear that enough times, even your own brain will just start to be like, oh, I wonder what it is.
Yeah, no, I think self-improvement is amazing. I think it's one of the best things ever. But, like, a lot of people think it's, like, really dumb and it's for losers and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think, like, really good self-help, like, it gets you analyzing yourself. Like, it gets you really looking at yourself and taking, like, a harsh look and be like, what's good about me? What's bad about me? What can I work on? Stuff like that, right? Yeah, like, I know a few bots myself. Like, I'm definitely friends with, like, a lot of bots. Yeah, not gonna call anyone out or anything, but, like, basically, like, there's two spectrums to, like, this whole self-help thing. There's, like, the grind all day, like, improve yourself people, and there's, like, the take every day by day and enjoy life. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's, like, that two sides. And, like, for the people who, like, grind really heavy and, like, accomplishing a lot, like, they definitely accomplish, like, they see their number go up on the screen, you know what I mean? Like, they go up. But they don't really enjoy every day. Like, they're really pushing it to the wall and they're just going up. And people who are enjoying every day, like, they're consuming before they're producing, you know what I mean? Like, they're just, like, chilling, enjoying every day, but, like, where does it come in where they get wrecked by life kind of thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's, like, the two sides to this, and, like, each side views the other one as, like, dumb, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah, because my way is right. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, like, the people who are chilling are like, what's this guy doing? Like, just grinding his life away kind of thing. And then the guy who's grinding his life away is looking at the other guys, and he's just like, this guy's just chilling. Like, we have so much to live for. Like, just grind.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, there's two sides, and, like, there's no right balance. Like, you just have to figure out, like, what's right for you. Mm-hmm. That's why, like, there are a lot of bots, but, like, maybe that's right for them. Like, maybe they're not as ambitious as they could be, but that's just who they are.
Maybe that's... I think it also depends on your situation in life, which you're not saying, because, like, if it comes to a point, because I really got, like, heavily into self-improvement, self-betterment when, you know, I left UTSC, right? I left my university to start a degree somewhere else. That's when I started YouTube, and I'm like, who am I going to be?
Yeah, who are you?
Sure,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus somebody who already has kind of, like, their life figured out, they're already on the path to getting there.
Yeah.
You need to think heavy, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
A part of me is also always going to look at them and be like, why are you so dumb, bro?
Yeah, like...
PC pod kind of thing.
Yeah.
So where you fall definitely would attribute to...
Definitely more on the grind side. Definitely way more on the grind side. Like, I think life's too short to, like, just chill and, like, relax. Yeah. But I definitely also relax, like I'll take, like, strategic breaks, I guess, like vacations or whatever, to, like, recharge for, like, the grind.
Finding a balance to not burn out, but at the same time enjoy life. Where do you say, like, I know you say there's two sides of it, but for you speaking, what worked the best for you? Okay,
so, like, you want the whole story? Like,
hey man, we got a podcast. I got a cup of coffee. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. So I think in second year I hit, like, the lowest point in my life, like, where I was, like, at my lowest, and then I became a grind. Like, I literally stopped giving a shit what people thought. Like, I was, like, probably the smallest guy in the gym. I'd just go in there, just headphone in, just work out, like, not give a fuck what people thought, go home, like, study shit, work hard. And I was grinding so hard, but, like, I also, like, had no fucking social life, dude. Yeah. Like, people would be like, yo, let's chill. I'd be like, nah, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta eat. Like, you know what I mean? I gotta do my shit. So I think, like, that worked really well for me to, like, climb and improve my life in certain aspects. But at the same time, I wasn't, like, enjoying life. Like, you know how Gary Vee talks about, like, in his 20s, he never actually went out and went to, like, Venice Beach or, like, hung out with people or, like, date girls or anything. Like, he just grinded in a liquor store, right? And similar to that, like, I had, like, my experience of grinding, and I realized, like, that's good for a lot of people, but I don't think, like, that's who I am. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to enjoy everything I do. I want to enjoy the grind. And, like, that's when, like, it really hit me that, like, going super fucking hard isn't the solution. Like, you got to figure out what level of, like, grind you want to do that makes you happy. And yeah, whatever that is, that's what gets me going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
so you gotta find the right spot for yourself, and
yeah,
that definitely takes quite a bit of experimentation.
yeah, exactly. Like one thing I think people should do is find their purpose. And like I know it's a huge thing. Yeah, it's a very big thing, and like it's really hard to find your purpose. People aren't passionate about a lot of things and stuff like that. Like what I think a purpose does for you is it grounds you. So it gives you boundaries. Like when people are like, "Hey, let's hang out," you're like, "No, I have this purpose that I care about." Like, and it's really fucking good to have a purpose. Like whatever your purpose is, like maybe it's to be the best rock climber or pianist or whatever, right? Yeah, piano.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, you got that. Yeah, so whatever it is, like finding your purpose is really important, and then starting. Like you could start immediately, start yesterday, start like right.
Start last week.
Yeah, start last week. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, start and do a bad job, do a terrible job. It doesn't matter because you're just getting the ball rolling, and like you learn from failure. Like I've learned a lot from watching successful people, but I've learned I think even more from seeing failures. Like I've seen failures in life. I've seen failures, like celebrities. I've seen failures like everywhere, and like you learn so much from failure. You learn failure from just doing it yourself. Like, or like when you're starting off, you in fact are probably a failure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, if you're going up, then you gotta like figure out what you want to do, structure it, get habit formation, read books, like read a couple hundred books on like what you want to do, figure out what it is that you actually really want, get there. And one thing I really learned was success is challenging to attain and fleeting once you attain it. Like I view it like a muddy hill. Like you know how many celebrities get to the top and then they're just like they're gone, right? Yeah. Happens with so many people. Happens with so many companies. Microsoft was like at the top of the tech world. Now they're not. Like now it's like Facebook, Google. Like you know what I mean? So like it's success is like you have to keep the habits going. Like once you're at the top, like it's not just like, hey, let's relax now. Like yeah. So that's why I strongly urge like finding your purpose, because once you know what you're passionate about, the work doesn't matter. You're enjoying it.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. When you find that, but like at the same time, would you would agree like it's really difficult. Like I wanted to make a podcast about purpose and things like that, but okay, firstly, I wouldn't say I fully found my purpose.
Yeah. Like
it's not like
what's your purpose? Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's not like bread that you can just buy and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your purpose is always being redefined as you grow, especially through your work. Say you start next week, something happens and you learn a little more, then your purpose kind of mutates a little bit. So whether it be purpose or not, I feel like I find myself kind of frustrated. 1 week, couple years back, it's kind of like purpose is something that will like drive you. It's like what drives you to eat bad food, even though you want to go to the gym. Imagine having that kind of influence for something that's good. Yeah, that's insane. Like, And purpose is kind of like a gate can act like a gateway towards that, right? Mm-hmm. But I was so frustrated. It's like, how do I find purpose?
How do you find your purpose, right? Like, what's your purpose? This is my literal recommendation.
All right.
Try something, then try another thing, then try another thing, then try another thing, and just keep trying shit, right? Until something hits. Like, I thought I was, like, passionate about, like, chess until, like, I don't know, 3 years in, where I was just like, okay, I'm not really that passionate about it. Like, you never know what your purpose is until like you'll know. You'll know
when it hits you.
You'll know when it hits you. Yeah.
Definitely.
And sometimes you think something is your purpose and it's not. Like that's something that experimentation is really good for. That's why I keep saying try something. And like if you constantly are trying shit, then like you're already improving yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're already like you're getting your feet in the pool.
Yeah.
As opposed to just chilling like on the side and just like thinking that this is your purpose.
Because everybody could think it, but until you really definitely try.
Yeah, I also think people are good at certain things. So that's something Gary Vee talks about too. Like whatever, you go all in on what you're good at, right?
Yeah.
So for example, he's not much of a reader and he knows that. But whatever you're about, like I think some people just have like super abilities in certain things, and everyone's good at something. There's nothing like one like Michael Jordan or LeBron. They're probably not the smartest people in the world, but they're great at like basketball. You know what I mean? And Albert Einstein's probably smart, but he's not that good at basketball.
Well, you never know. What he
balling. He balling.
He's the only one who knew the physics of basketball.
Yeah. Dude, he's switching out every shot, dude.
But yeah, definitely. Yeah. You gotta target things that you're good at. I think a lot of people also come through the what my experience was that, the anxiety of like, I'm sure I'm good at this one thing, but like maybe there's more that I need to be good at. Especially in my work where I'm podcasting or doing this now, you also have to be multidimensional.
Yeah.
It's definitely a trial and error kind of thing.
No, there's a lot of skills around like the stuff that you're going for. You know what I mean? Like you're probably, when you're doing this podcast, you're probably going to have to learn how to do like business documents or file tax reports. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? I never had to do this shit in my life. Right. But it's really cool because like, it doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be shitty parts and good parts to it. And like, you're just going to have to deal with the shit if it's worth it. Yeah. And like, if you're really passionate about it, you're willing to do it on a rainy day. You're willing to do it like, even when you're not in the mood to do it. Like, you're always down to do it. You're always down to do it. Yeah. Just because it's life. Like, it's something that you love doing.
Yeah, definitely connecting. What I found, well, what I'm really starting to understand and develop rather, is the understanding that, you know, I like to say a lot of people know, but not a lot of people understand. And a lot of this can change your entire life, because knowing is kind of like, you know, something in your head. Say we're talking and we tell somebody, hey, don't do this, it's going to hurt you in the future, you know, and maybe habits are good, things like that. And that's kind of like when they know, when they experience it through life, when they're like, oh, this is what's happening.
You're talking about internalizing it. Yeah, like you can read a book and you can see that like the successful person learned this lesson from this event, but you're not going to internalize it as deeply as they did, because actually, you're not going through it. Yeah.
So when you experience it, it's kind of like you connect your internal self with the knowledge. That's when you understand. That's when changes happen.
Yeah.
Because theoretically, then everybody would be ripped and in good shape all the time, because you know bad foods and things like that, but it doesn't click.
No, right? It's like that's the thing about habit formation. Like a lot of people know like bad food is bad for them, and like they know they shouldn't have it, and they know like they should go to the gym or whatever, but they just don't do it because like a lot of factors, like I'm lazy or I'm tired or I'm not in the mood or like a million other things. And like that's why like if you make it a habit to just go in the gym, and this is one thing I actually do, I view my brain as like a stubborn horse. You know what I mean? Okay. And I call this coaxing the stubborn horse. Like you have to literally be the chariot master in order to control your brain. So if you view your brain as a stubborn horse, then like you'll notice like things about like situations like, hey, I need to go to the gym, but I don't have the energy to. Okay, fine, I'll just step in the gym. Just step in the gym. Like say, yo, brain, shut the fuck up. I'm just gonna. Can I swear on this?
Well, you've already been swearing, but it's fine. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, just be like, brain, shut up. I'm just gonna step in the gym, and then you just step in the gym, and then maybe you'll find out that you're actually working out. Or like, say you don't want to do math equations for homework, just start cracking into. Start looking at a few problems, and then who knows? Maybe you're just doing math for like an hour or two. I found this very popular. Like you dread it. And like you think that you shouldn't do it and stuff, but once you just get started, like, I do this a lot. Like even with my friends who are like, "Oh, I don't want to eat this food," or "I don't want to try this thing." I'll be like, "Oh, let's just look at it. Let's just look at it." It's a great convincing tactic.
And it actually works.
It works most of the time, dude. It works most of the time because once they see it and once it's in front of them, it's like so much harder to like say no. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. I do this to my brain all the time, like, hey, I'm so tired, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm just like, let's just step in the gym. Fuck it. Like, let's just warm up. Let's just warm up. Let's just do some jumping jacks, you know, get the blood flowing. And all of a sudden I'm working out. And it's actually crazy. It's actually like insane that your brain works like this. So if you view your brain as a stubborn horse, you can coax it in order to do whatever you want. Right.
Instead of thinking like, oh, I think I'm tired, and that's what I truly am going to like experiencing, instead of thinking like, hey, no, I can manipulate this. I have some sort of power and control over it. Yeah. Like, I like to turn my brain off. Like, I do something like that most people don't do. It's cold showers. I've heard. I only do it in the last 10 seconds. Like, I don't like. Yeah, not the entire 30 minutes just soaking cold shower.
That's some serial killer shit. That's some serial killer
Just straight face, no expressions. Just standing there.
No, but it's very beneficial for you. Cold showers are awesome. So for the last 10 seconds, I'll do the cold shower. But I noticed that I dread it. Like I dread it so much. Yeah. Like right before I do it, I'm like, oh my God, I dread it. So what I do is I turn my brain off and I'm like, let's just do 1 second. And I just put it in the coldest setting. And I find that I actually sit there for like good 15, 20 seconds, maybe even 30 seconds in like cold water. Like I start to like get into it. And yeah, it's very beneficial for you. It helps your immune system. There's so many pros to doing this. And one thing I really like about it is it gets you really present.
Yeah.
Do you know about like presence?
Yep.
Yeah, so like eating anything like that's really gross or taking a cold shower or like whatever will get you really present in the moment. Like you're not thinking about like
because you
problems. You literally can't.
Right, your brain shuts it down.
Your brain is off. And like that's like the best part, because once you're present, you're like actually above thought. You're using your brain as a tool rather than your brain controlling you. Yeah, like I meditate, I do all this stuff that gets me present, and like I notice being present is like one of the most important things. Yeah. Because then you're using your brain like actually as a tool.
I see a lot of similarities with like you could I couldn't have gotten a perfect person.
Actually, thanks,
Yeah, no,
man.
honestly,
I appreciate that. Thank
honestly,
you.
man, the most perfect person for this season because looking at what inspired me to create the season on habits as well as really seeing the importance of habits. So because you made a blog. You're a, would I call you a blogger? Would you call yourself a blogger?
What are you talking about? My Medium articles?
Yeah. Like some articles.
Yeah, I guess so. I made these articles about like self-improvement. It's just like some really important things that I've seen and that I just really wanted to document down because like if it helps at least one person, then I'm just like, okay, sick, cool. Like it was worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when it came to one of your articles, I've read the habit formation, and I definitely understand and like where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And the thing is though, when it comes to habits, right? What I wanted to get your take on it is that there's a lot of people who look at habits in a way where it's kind of like you would say it's kind of like they're part of their skin, or maybe they don't think as much about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, oh, this is my character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of thinking of it differently. So what I've come to learn is that habits are kind of like if you look at a video game or you look at say, I'm going to use a video game example. Right? Okay, so different levels have like different bosses.
Okay.
And different levels have different atmospheres.
Okay.
Right? You can think of it like seasons too.
Okay.
You don't wear the same clothing every season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Season come and go, and so you adapt to the season by changing clothing.
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
So when you incorporate this to the video game, so every boss, you can't fight the same way.
Okay.
Right? You have different kinds of tools and weaponry, and that would also change up your clothing. So what I'm trying to say is that habits isn't just like, oh, this is me.
Okay, you're saying it's like the external situations that happen to someone that make them change their habits?
It's a part of it, but what I'm trying to say is that just like what you said about your brain, is like it controls you to a certain extent, but when you start looking at your brain as a tool, that's what I'm trying to get at. You can look at your habits as a tool.
Yeah, 100%, I agree.
And it's really interesting for me to see that a lot of people don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like, yeah, because external situations hit them and they think, like, a lot of people are just reacting to life.
What's happening, yeah.
But, like, with habit formation or, like, coaxing the stubborn horse kind of mentality, you realize that you take full responsibility for everything in your life and you can change anything in your life and you can change the direction of your life, which is, like, the best shit ever. Like, if someone told me this when, like, I was, like, a kid, I'd be like, holy fuck.
Yeah, because most of the time, everybody's just reacting through life. And so your journey through creating habits, I'm sure, is there a specific habit right now that you're trying to build or kill off?
Not
that you're constantly aware of.
Not in the moment, actually. I think kind of like I'm trying to get more into editing and I'm trying to get more into reading books, but like these are things I've always been into and like I'm just trying to like make more time for them.
Right.
Kind of thing. Right. Yeah.
So so the thing is that I want it.
Like how I go into a habit, like how I formulate a habit.
How you formulate a habit, or like how do you look at habits? That's what I want to know. When you started looking at habits, like was it like, oh, this is something I can change to adopt to kill a certain boss in my life, which could be a goal to do something, to achieve something.
How I look at it is like the patterns that you do every day make up who you are. I think Augustus or like Aristotle.
Aristotle. Yeah.
Oh, was it Augustus? I don't know. One of those philosophers made a quote, and it was in Greece. It was in Greece, and it wasn't even in English. It was in Greek, and it was like, you are what you continually do. And it's very true, because habits pretty much make who you are. Food kind of makes who you are by like the definition of food, right? Like you're taking it in. So I realized that like wherever I want to be in life, like I have to have like the correct patterns around it in order to be in that position. So I was like, how do I like say I want to be rich, successful, traveling the world, like working on my own terms, doing whatever I want, what habits would I need to be in place? So I started looking into people who are successful, like Tony Robbins or like Eckhart Tolle, or like Eckhart Tolle, I guess, is just a meditation teacher and like he didn't really care about success. But I looked into like all these people who were living life, and I was like, how do they do what they do? And I look at the habits, and I was very interested in success. I was so interested in what made people successful. Like why is Steve Jobs successful? Why isn't like this random dude that I know successful? You know what I mean? Like what is the difference between Steve Jobs and this guy? And I realized it's always the habits. Like successful people have discipline. They have so much discipline in their habits, and you have to have this urgency and you have to be engaged in order to whatever you want to do. You have to actually like want to fight for whatever your purpose is. And that's what I noticed. Like they might not even have a purpose, but they definitely have habits and they definitely have discipline. Like that's one thing that like literally all of them have. And that's one thing that I thought like was the most important in order to get to where you are.
Right.
So like habit formation is key. I think.
Yeah. Definitely. It's because eventually it's kind of like learning piano. Even if you practice every day, which is habits allow you to be consistent.
Mhm.
One of the most important things in success.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to be consistent. Yeah.
And it's kind of like if you look at a lot of the other habits and things like that, what you said was really interesting, right? Just now, it's like you have to have a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Which is, now that I think about it, it's actually really true, because if you think of something and you're like lax about it, at time, but like how would you cope with something that, like, because I know a lot of people can get overstressed.
Have you read Stephen Covey? There's a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and one of the habits was about time management. It was like on the topic of time management, and he like some MIT prof.
All right.
Some MIT prof was doing a lecture on Stephen Covey's time management thing, and he like draws a box and he has like urgent, non-urgent, important, non-important. You know about this.
That's actually what I follow too.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And he talks about how he did his PhD way quicker than all the other PhD guys because it was urgent for him to do it. And if you're lax about something, you're willing to spend more time on it, do it slowly, do it more thoroughly or whatever. But if you have a sense of urgency, you're gonna get shit done. You're gonna get shit done. And that's actually very key because most people don't have that sense of urgency. Like, it's fine. Like, success isn't a race. Like, there's no like speed. Like, it's not determined how fast you become successful, as long as you're on the path to becoming successful. That's the most important thing. And like, I look at it like a progress thing. So if you know James Clear Atomic Habits, he talks about how your trajectory is the only thing that matters. So where you're headed, in the direction that your life is headed, is the most important thing in terms of growth and success. It doesn't matter where you are. Like, don't judge yourself on your results. Like, you could go out and fail 10 times. Like, say you want to learn basketball, you could lose all your games. But it doesn't matter because you're putting in the reps, you're putting in the work. And that's all that matters because you're on the right trajectory to becoming a pro basketball player or whatever it is, whatever habit you're trying to form. And that's pretty much the key. That's why I noticed like habit formation is like the building block, one of the biggest building blocks to success. Because if you make things habits, like, you don't have to like work as hard.
Yeah, because it just kind of happens automatically. Which also, in hindsight, you could also say negative habits also help you succeed in bad things.
Yeah, negative habits fuck you up. Yeah.
Long story short. This is basically a long way of saying bad habits are bad.
Yeah, it's like slowly draining you. Like that's one thing I noticed where people who did habit formation, they're like build these habits that like improve them, but they're not killing off the habits that are killing them.
Definitely you gotta switch up habits. You gotta, and like what you said is something what I've understood as well, is that you're never in a stalemate in your life. If you think you're stalemating and you're not growing, you're going down.
You're going down. Yeah,
you just can't tell. So even with the negative habits, it's kind of like if you don't tackle negative habits, say even like the lightest things. Like I've read some of the compound effect.
Not giving. Oh,
the compound effect.
Okay.
Yeah, so the compound effect talks about how things take time, but it compounds exponentially throughout.
Yeah.
So say you have a bad habit of eating pizza and you don't keep that in check. Yeah, it's a pizza, not a problem. Within a year, you'll see a difference. In 2 years, you'll see. And not dealing with your bad habits is kind of like reverse psychology on yourself, in a sense that you're actually working really hard to kill yourself. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and it's interesting because not training a bad habit is a little harder. You know what I mean? Like, say you're stuck smoking. Like, how do you get rid of that? Like, you can't just quit for 30 days. You know what I mean? Like, it might not be that easy. One thing that I noticed, like, I read a book, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And in that book, he talks about why people do what they do. And he says every single thing you do is to get towards pleasure and away from pain.
Yeah.
So, and if you structure whatever you're doing to get towards pleasure, like say you're trying to quit smoking and you structure, like you make smoking in your head painful, then you've won. Because like say you try all this stuff, you quit smoking, 13 years later something bad happens in your life, you could reach for it again. So what he talks about was making smoking really painful, and he had tons of clients, and he actually helped this one dude, and what it took for him was his daughter crying. Like, his daughter literally cried, and she was just like, I don't want you to die or whatever, right? And it just became so painful to him that he quit smoking for his entire life.
Immediately, yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually fucking insane. Like that blew my mind. I was like, what? Like,
because you would think like it's a drug, you'd be addicted.
Yeah,
but it's what's truly controlling everything. Again, it's your brain. It's just
pain and pleasure. Yeah. So you have like in your brain, you have these pathways to certain brain chemicals, and your brain naturally has those pathways. So if you're like a 2 out of 10 happy, a depressed person, you naturally have like the pathways into like, I think there's serotonin, cortisol. Yeah, wow, you know this stuff.
I studied this a little, very extensively.
Yeah, there's dopamine, cortisol, yeah.
Everybody wants a dopamine high. This is also why you would see like social media and things like that.
Yeah. When you get that like on Instagram, you get that dopamine. Yeah. The dopamine hits you, dude.
Yeah, that's
it hits you hard.
And then people get so depressed if it's not. Then you get all the cortisol flowing. Then your body's like, oh, I'm stressed. I just want to de-stress myself.
Yeah.
Combine this with like lack of meditating, lack of control over your mind, or even looking at your mind like it's something you can control. Because when people are like, oh, I want it, I guess I want it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of being like, oh no, I'm just reacting this way, my body's reacting this way, but like let's do something else and just try to mitigate the damage here. You know?
I think having those bad experiences really make you like where you are. You know what I mean? Like the people, like think about the sand dollar, like on a beach. You know what I mean? You know what a sand dollar is, right?
Sure.
You know?
Sand dollar?
Yeah, like a sand dollar. It's like shell that like easily crumbles.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you think about that, and you're just like, okay, so this. If a person had no pressure on their life, like no negative anchors, no shit in their life, and they're just like happy and good, they're going to be soft. They're literally going to be like the sand dollar. So whenever shit goes down, they're done. They're done. But if you had a lot of negative anchors and you grew from those experiences, like you literally rose like a phoenix in the ashes, you know what I mean? You came back to where you are, then you have all these negative anchors. So like you're a diamond in the rough. Like you're literally had all that pressure applied to you so that even when shit goes down, you're good. Like, you know what to do. Like, you know how to come back up. You know? Yeah. And that's why I think, like, having all these negative experiences are really good because it just makes you tougher overall, but it also makes you mentally understand situations better. Like, you would not flip out in chaos. Like, a lot of people would flip out. Like people would be worried and stuff. Cortisol would hit them. You just be calm. Yeah. And, being calm is, like, a key.
Yeah, definitely. So you would prescribe pain over pleasure or anything?
Pain over pleasure? Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Just get a lot of pain.
Just get you heard it here first. Just get in pain.
Yeah, just live life in pain.
Well, not because it's funny we say that because nowadays most people are depressed.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Like I've talked to a few friends about it, and like it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Definitely. Yeah. Because especially I think in the past couple of years, 2011. Yeah. Really was on the rise, right?
Self-actualization, right? That's like the big thing. Yeah.
That's gonna be another season. Stay tuned.
Self-actualization.
But I gotta learn a little more, research a little more about it. Right. But regarding habits, though, like okay, so say people are upset. What's the point of habits? Like, what would you say?
Yeah. Like, if you don't have the energy to even like get into habit formation, why even bother, right?
Well, why would you care about habits? You tell me.
See, I think it comes from having a ecosystem of positive emotions. And like you're probably like, what's this ecosystem you're talking about?
What's this ecosystem? Explain to me.
Basically, like if I pull out my phone, I'll have like friends hitting me up with like funny messages, making me laugh, or projects. Memes, projects to work on, memes. I'll have interesting books to read, or I like eat healthy food, go to the gym, like that gets me like energized, or I'll go up, check out some nice nature views like kayaking or whatever. Basically, there's a lot of stuff going on, and like if you take away something, like take away the hiking or the books, I still have all this other stuff keeping me positive. You know what I mean? All this positive emotions coming from all this other stuff. So you have this ecosystem built around this. And I think ecosystem is such a good word for this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have a strong ecosystem and like you can't, like that's why I'm saying like the hard sand dollar, like the soft sand dollar versus the hard diamond. Yeah, like you're not going to crumble easily. You have this positive ecosystem. In general, you have like a good relationship to life. Like you wake up feeling pumped, like you want to get shit done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you have this ecosystem, then you can pretty much have the energy to get into habit formation. You know what I mean? So if you're depressed and like you don't have the energy, like some days you have it, some days you don't, and you're not feeling it, like you can't even get into habit formation, then yeah, I would suggest building an ecosystem of positive emotions.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like even if you don't have it, like obviously everything in my life isn't ideal, you know what I mean? But you have to be happy with the direction that your life is going, that's the trajectory of your life. And that's like really fucking important. Like that's one of the keys. But yeah, if you don't have the energy to do this and you're like depressed or like you don't even want to do this, then you have to start building on this ecosystem. If you're a 2 out of 10 happy and you want to get to like an 8 out of 10 happy, you can't just do that in one day. Like, you know what I mean? Nothing worth having comes easy.
Unless you do drugs.
Yeah, unless you do drugs. Tony Robbins has like the reframe challenge. Like if every time you have a negative thought, you reframe like why it could be positive. Stuff like that. So you have to be able to start positivity challenges. You have to start all this stuff in order to get yourself into a healthier mindset. And once you have those core foundations, like you actually want to make a change, then you make a change. Like this is for people who actually want to make a change. Like if you're happy with where your life is, then like it's fine. But like if you actually want to change, then I would suggest like start implementing stuff. Like figure out what your problem is. Like, read a couple hundred books about it. Like what is my problem? How do I fix this? And then start implementing. And the hardest part is the implementing.
Right. Because I think especially because like when everybody's mentally not at a stable place, I like to say that the mentality is the most important thing.
Yeah. That's why meditation, I like hammer on this a lot. Like meditation is really important to do. Like if your mind is like messing with you or anything, just rise above consciousness.
Right, it's just easy just to go astral at this point.
Like rise above consciousness. Basically, what I do when I meditate is I just go black. Like my mind is off, and I just focus on my breathing. So I just go, and I do that for like 20 minutes.
Right.
Literally 20 minutes of no thoughts. And obviously thoughts are going to come in and then they go away. And you're training your brain so that when thoughts come in, you're like, okay, brain, like, will we have this thought? No. You know what I mean? Or yes. And like, let me indulge in this thought. But people live life on autopilot and thoughts just come in. Like you can see people walking around downtown, you know what I mean? They're just like whispering to themselves or daydreaming.
All the time, talking to yourself.
Yeah, and you're like, holy, this guy's stuck in thought. This guy's stuck in thought.
I've been there in a
no, I'm sure tons of people have been. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's why I hammer on meditation. Like you just like if your mind is not helping you and you have a lot of negative energy, you have a lot of depression, whatever, rise above consciousness, rise above thought. And that's why Power of Now was like one of my favorite books.
I want to read that too.
Yeah, by Eckhart Tolle. Like I tell people about Eckhart Tolle, they look at him on YouTube and they're like, you like this old slow guy? You like this old dude who just like talks really slow?
He's talking fast, especially in our day and age where everything's so fast, right? He's like everybody's talking, and when it's kind of when you think about meditation, and maybe people are like, okay, meditation is cool. Maybe I should get the handle of my life. So they start meditating. They believe like the point of meditation is not to have thoughts. That's not the thing. Yeah. The point of meditation is to be able to see thought and be like, cool.
Yeah. Like you see the thought pass, you know what I mean? You see the thought come in and pass. Yeah, like letting thoughts go.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I view it like kind of like a microscope when I'm meditating. So like the thoughts come in and I'm like daydreaming for a little bit and it's like unfocused. And then I'm like, oh, I'm thinking, let me just get back into the present moment. And it's like focused. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Okay,
so like you train your brain to be less in daydreaming, like less in the unfocused. And yeah, you just get more focused. You live life in the present moment. And then you'll notice like you're just naturally more positive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to build positive energy. Like you can come into conversations, come into whatever, and you just carry a more rich energy to you just because you're meditating.
I've tried meditating for like a week, and by the 7th day, and I've done this for like 10 minutes a day at the exact same time. And by the 7th day, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Like you'll notice.
Yeah.
One thing people notice about other people when people are in rooms or whatever talking is their breathing. You immediately can recognize how someone's feeling by their breathing. And you don't even know you're doing this. You're doing this subconsciously. Yeah. And this is done like by everyone pretty much. So if someone starts breathing heavily, like they look at their phone and start breathing heavily, it's like some shit went down. You know right away.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why like when you're meditating and stuff, you're like, you have this aura to you. You have like some energy to you where you are way more present. You're way more, you can articulate your thoughts and you can just talk. You can just be clear in what you're saying.
You started meditating. Your article was about you trying meditating.
Yeah, actually, I think so. Yeah.
So how did that play out? You tell me.
Okay, so if you have read my article, I don't know if people have. Basically, when you're trying to form habits, you want to do it on like a day-by-day basis. So I have a big calendar, and I just cross off each day that I do the habit, and I try to do 30 days in a row. The magic number is different for everyone, but I think 30 days is a really good number because once you do 30 days, it's hard not to do it on the 32nd day, like you'll notice, or 31st day. So yeah, I just make a cross each day I do it. And if I miss the habit, then I erase and start over because it's really important not to train a bad habit. So like I don't train skipping. So I just make sure I do it every day in a row. So if it's meditation, I'll just meditate 20 minutes a day, like before bed or something, cross it off. Do it the next day, cross it off, cross it off, cross it off, and just do it. And I don't miss a day. And I just try not to miss a day. And once you get it for like a good 30 days, maybe even 60 days, you don't need this anymore. Like you're good. Yeah. You're set.
It's done.
It's formed.
Right.
And it's hard not to do it at that point because you just want to do it. Like it's just habituated.
You'll naturally fall into
it. Yeah. Humans are habitual creatures, man. We do things because of habit.
Most things. If you get into meditating, and then you'll start being more aware of yourself. You'll start realizing what you do and why you do them. It's like everything's just habit. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting.
All the time. So, and habits have definitely, I would say, some of your successes, you would say, habits contributed quite a bit.
Yeah, because like when I watch a lot of famous people or successful people, they say...
I don't watch famous people on YouTube.
Yeah, when they say, yo, you have to grind, like Michael Jordan grinded like 5 a.m., played basketball and stuff. And I realize you really don't. You really don't. Like you don't need that level of willpower. Like you really don't need that level of willpower. You don't need to like push yourself, like face to grind, you know what I mean? Like face the dirt, like go hard. You just need to build a habit. And be consistent, and then once you're consistent,
let the habit do the work for you.
Yeah, let the habit do the work for you. Pretty much.
Getting workers.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even that bad. Yeah, like the hardest part is the initial shift in gears, and like that's not even that bad.
Especially because your body doesn't want to switch out of equilibrium, mental, psychological.
Yeah. People don't like change, and like I think change is the one thing that's needed. Change is the one thing that's needed.
The one thing we need is like, oh well, we don't want that. It's like, well, then how are you gonna push past a lot of your hardships in life, or even if it's not hardship, because even if you talk about habits, it's kind of like, oh, this is a bad habit, this is a good habit. This can lead into so much more in the world. This can lead into the entire instability of your hormonal state. Cortisol, then you're stressed. This could lead into then, it's like, oh, well, sugar is great. I like sweet things when I'm stressed, right? People stress eat. Then all of a sudden, the sugar is not doing enough for you. Then your dopamine receptors are changing. And all this goes on, and then eventually, all of a sudden, now you're a pack a day smoker.
Yeah. You do crack. You do crack. You do crack with the homeless dude at the park.
Right. What are you doing? It's like, well, I started off with a donut. I'm just a full-on crack next month. That's what I'm saying. Because a lot of people, when they look at the habit and things like that, it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of like, even a lot of people are being aware now, but like, there's still a lot of people who's like, oh, this is bogus mumbo jumbo.
You realize our biology tells us that? Like, our biology literally wants us to like minimize time and effort.
Yep.
And maximize value.
Yeah.
So like we just like our biology is like I don't like change. Yeah. I just want to be who I am. Like it's more comfortable. It's more easy.
Yep.
You feel safe, stuff like that. But like giving into that biological inclination to minimize time and effort is like, that's really weak. I think, to be honest. Like I honestly think that's really weak. Like if like obviously like I've had times where I've given into it and stuff like that. But I've noticed it's like a lower level of consciousness. Like biting into like a Big Mac or whatever, like a burger or like. Having that low level of consciousness is actually detrimental.
Yeah.
It's pretty detrimental. It'll actually destroy your life if you do that. Like smoking weed and playing Xbox isn't that bad if you do it once.
Yeah.
But like giving into that low level of consciousness, like that, it's asking for it. Like it's a habit almost. It like gives you so much pleasure that you do it.
It's almost as if like it's not even the smoking weed, playing Xbox. It's just you mentally succumbing to the desire.
Yeah, so like people do things because of pain and pleasure. That's what Tony Robbins was saying. Like if something is pleasureful, you'll do it. Like smoking weed, playing Xbox is like super pleasureful. Like they'll do it. But yeah, you have to figure out how to make that a pain, and you have to figure out how to make eating healthy and going exercising a pleasure.
How would you go about
starting a habit, or
it's not just starting a habit, but like how would you start? Okay, because you're eventually getting to starting a habit, but how would you change the protocol that initiates the need to start a habit? Because you were saying you have to look at pleasurable things that kill you as a bad thing, as pain.
Yeah,
how would you go through that mental process that will eventually lead you to more habit formation, right?
How would you get that into pain? Like, are you saying like smoking? Yeah. Like, how would you get that into pain?
Yeah, how would you, if I was a pack-a-day smoker, how would you make that painful?
Okay, well, it's different for everyone, but I would say figure out what pain is for you. Like, what is pain? Like emotional pain, psychological pain, like physical pain, like whatever pain is for you. You have to make a smoking associated to that. So every time you reach for the smoke or whatever, think about the pain that it causes you. You know what I mean? Like say it gives you like heart pain every time you smoke, or say it makes you almost want to throw up every time you smoke, right? When you're smoking, you have to literally connect it. in your mind. You have to build this connection. Like, I smoke, I'm going to want to puke. This is gross.
So you're going to amplify the negative aspects of your habit.
Yeah. Like, it'll help to make a list, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, make a pro-con list, like, all the cons, just, like, weighing on it. And, like, literally look at all of this and make sure you're okay with this before you smoke. Every single time you smoke. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is just, like, something I just made up right now. But I think it will be very impactful. I think it actually would change the lives of people who are, like, stuck in a negative thought loop or negative pattern. You literally have to get out of it. You have to claw your way out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be easy, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think anything worth having comes easy.
I don't think even whether it's easy or pleasurable should be a part of conversation. Life's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. 100%. I'm actually reading this book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. You know who David Goggins is?
I've heard of him.
Yeah, dude, that guy apparently, like, he's been through, like, a lot of shit. But, like, this guy knows how to, like, he knows pain. Yeah, he knows how to deal with pain.
And
Really
what are you learning about the pain book?
What am I learning of the Book of Pain? I don't know. I'm just in the beginning. I'm on the first chapter, but I'm learning that this guy, like, has been through hell, and he knows how to, like, overcome it.
So overcoming pain. Yeah, it's a very tricky situation because nowadays everybody's too easy. Everything's really soft.
Yeah. The world is getting a lot more soft.
Yeah.
Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means there's, like, more prosperity. You know what I mean? Like, there's more. It's more prosperous.
Really hurting us as much.
Yeah, it just makes us softer though, as a culture, as a generation. Yeah.
Especially and then you got, like, now weed's been legalized or this and that. Everybody's like, this has nothing to do with drugs. Like, well, buddy, it has everything to do because you have to understand why you do certain things. And
100%. I would agree.
Definitely, because then to train a habit. Say if you had a bad habit.
Yeah.
Right. How would somebody go from having a bad habit to converting that or mitigating damage to building a good habit out of that?
How would you convert a bad habit into a good habit? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because you can't, like, live on a good habit and the bad habit. You know what I mean? Because there's some habits that are polar opposites.
Okay.
Right. Say you want to sleep, get good sleep to not have eye bags.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then you like to party all night long.
Not have eye bags. Oh, okay. So you have these habits that, like, counteract each other. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a tough question. Like, I would say go for the one that matters more to you. Like, if honestly, I wouldn't even say partying all night is, like, the worst thing in the world. Like, if that's who you are, that's who you are.
Lively person.
Yeah, you're just a really lively person, dude. Like, it's really important. Like, sometimes you might need to sacrifice sleep, especially in your 20s. Like, sometimes you might need to sacrifice sleep to get some stuff done. Mm-hmm. Maybe that stuff is partying. you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So you're siding with the bad habit at this point?
No, I'm not siding with the bad habit. I'm just saying, like, if it's counteractive, like, you got to figure out which one matters more to you. Like, that's like, if you want to get that sleep or, like, you want to party, like, which one matters more, kind of thing. Like, sometimes I would agree, like, maybe it is, like, maybe you have no friends and you need to party. So
it's like strategically going to party.
Yeah.
You got pumped.
to make some friends,
and go up to the bouncer. I want to make some friends. I'm out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
You drink just...
I have to get to bed. Let
me make 2 friends. I'm out of here.
Just 2.
Let me get your Instagram or something.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But, like, definitely, I think you've had extensive experience with habit building and on top of that, what brought you to the philosophy of what brought you to habit building? Because you realized it was basically a cornerstone of success of life.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not just something to be successful, but, like, it makes everything so much easier. It's kind of like creating an automatic system.
Yeah.
It automates everything.
What made me into this?
Yeah.
What made me get into?
What made you, like, get into understanding the philosophy of it, or understanding
studying this? I always wanted to be really fucking successful. Like, I was always really ambitious. Like, I was probably, like, one of the most ambitious people, like, growing up, like, that I knew. Because I talked to my friends about this, and they'd be like, "Why do you care so much? Like, just, like, make $80K a year, get a wife, get a white picket fence."
Don't get started that with me.
Yeah. That's what some of my friends would say. They'd just be like, just, like, enjoy life, live it. Like, why do you care so much about this stuff? And I realized, like, I can't turn off this ambition. Like, I'm just really ambitious. So I always studied it. Like, I looked into why people were successful, what made someone successful. I was break break that down, like see what habits they had, and I realized habits were like the key fundamental building block to having a good life. Like you don't even need discipline, you don't need willpower. You just have these habits set in place that make you who you are. You know what I mean?
Can you build habit without purpose and reason?
That's actually tough. I think it's hard to build habit without purpose because like you don't have the energy to. You know what I mean? Like you don't have something that you're willing to fight for. Yeah, like you want to build a habit, but like at the same time you're like self-actualized and you're like, oh, we're gonna die one day, so why does this matter? You know what I mean? But I think the people who are really smart go full circle almost from like, hey, we're gonna die one day, like what's the point of all this, to we're gonna die one day, might as well best of it, work hard, like see what is like on the top. You know what I mean? Help other people, like really contribute to the human race. And
that's definitely where purpose. I think definitely purpose plays a huge role in habit, because it's kind of like if our brain was able to just form habits, it's kind of like it's investing into a money making machine, but without much investment. You can just be consciously away from it and still build a habit, and somehow it'll work. You know what I mean? But like I don't think our brains are capable of like committing to labor to build a habit, and grow it if you don't have some sort of meaning and purpose attached to it too.
100%. Yeah, I feel like you need to control your brain, and in order to control your brain, you need to have a purpose. Like having a purpose just grounds you. Like it literally gives you like boundaries. It gives you energy. It gives you like so many things.
It even gives you entirety of direction as well.
Yeah. Like you'll want to fight for something. Like for example, like from where I was to where I am now, I'd have to literally think it was pointless. Like I'd have to literally be like, oh, this was meaningless for me not to like want to share this stuff and like help people. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe it is. Maybe that's the truth, and like it's all narcissistic. It's all a narcissistic game. Nothing really matters. We're all gonna die with. Exactly. But no, I actually made like the choice to like value human beings, and like I honestly think like if it at least helped one person, then that's good, because that one person could go on to change the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I consciously think that like wherever you are to where you are now, like that actually means something, and you can treasure it, or you can like use it to like help someone else or share your knowledge and make an impact in like the human race. Like I think Elon Musk is doing that, trying to make humans an interplanetary species. That's my boy. That's my boy. That's my boy.
Well, up in space, bro.
Yeah, he has like -5 social skills, but
that's fine. You know, we're all good at everything.
Yeah, no,
it's actually ball. So Michael Jordan can.
Yeah, Michael Jordan can ball. Einstein can ball. Yeah, we've been over this. Yeah, Einstein's been a baller. String theory.
Yeah, right. Like if I calculate the energy applied here.
Yeah, dude, E equals MC squared is actually like the perfect shot.
E equals MC squared. What does that mean? That means you got smoked.
Pretty much, yeah.
But definitely, I really respect that.
You vibe with it? Yeah.
I vibe with it. Yeah, because I actually understand that so much too, because when I think about the project or even building any of this, I studied self-betterment all the way from mentality to like, okay, what influences the mentality, this and that, maybe.
You read books about
psychology. I've been reading books, but mostly my research is done online.
YouTube?
Not just YouTube, but like research papers and neuroscience and things like that.
Nice. Yeah,
it's a lot of papers. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like at the end, I had to look at myself and say, what is all this for? And I couldn't have stated it better than you just did.
Thanks,
but
man.
Definitely, like giving something back, and even if one person benefits from that, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because
that one person can.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein. Yeah.
That person could be another Albert Einstein. That guy could be the black baller Albert Einstein the world ever needed.
Yeah, you could change the world through basketball.
And even if it doesn't change the world, I still change someone to think a little differently. Mm-hmm. Maybe even in a day, and who knows? Maybe in the future,
he can change someone else's mind.
Yeah, and long story short, that's the Self Betterment Project of the bit. But
yeah,
I oh my god, like I have never actually like spoke to somebody who I couldn't like as an interview be like, hey man, so this, and like you say something, I'm like, well, what about this? Because you said everything that I would say myself. This interview was, I'm not even joking. Like, this interview is kind of like having an interview with myself.
Oh, actually,
it's a little more.
It's like a mirror.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like mirroring.
Yeah,
and it's amazing to see that it's not just me, you know, because me being in self betterment and all that, a lot of people are like, yeah, great self betterment talk, but like I have yet to really fully see.
It's actually like the lowest percent of the population that's actually into this. It's
Yeah.
fucking
It's kind of like
crazy.
a niche kind of group.
Yeah, it's a niche group. I've told so many people this. Like, I have friends who like or would make bad decisions or something. I'd be like, why don't you try this, or like, why don't you do this? And like, I literally give this advice involuntarily. Like, they
Yeah.
wouldn't even want it.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, dude, shut up. Like, they'd be like, dude, shut
I
up.
feel that, man.
Yeah.
I feel that. I
Yeah.
like to go on the basis of one turn help, because I like to understand that I'm not people's moms.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will try to help and explain once. If you come back to me for advice and help, great. I'll help you. But if you truly find me annoying after that one help, great. You can go mess up your life. I respect that.
I think just trying to help people is like the best thing, because like I'll do this regardless. Like I'll literally involuntarily give my advice all the time. Like,
Just go to them.
yeah.
Like, hey, by the way.
yeah, no, not to random people, but like if like I do get wrecked and they're like, whatever, right? I honestly don't care, because I just want to keep putting it out there. Like I just want to just keep trying to help people, because even if it doesn't affect that person, it could affect someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. Like I just keep trying to like help someone.
So
Yeah.
please let me help you.
Yeah, like
You're dying. You just don't know it.
Dude, you wouldn't even believe. Like sometimes I had friends. I'm like, dude, let me just just trust me.
Just knock on his window. Like, no, you dude. Open the door.
Yeah, and
Let me help you, bro.
let me help you. And like yeah, like a lot of people don't apply it. So like even if you do give this information, like a lot of it is kind of wasted. That's why I think this is an amazing platform, because you can put it out there and the people who seek it can find it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm like, yeah, this way, like my friends won't even like want to look at it. They'll be like, what is this, dude?
He's like, he made a whole video about this.
Yeah, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, definitely. But you know what I find interesting about this, even if they find annoying, what happens eventually is they say somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it could hit it at a different time. Like what I noticed is life always gives you the lessons you need at the right times.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I've definitely had like really shitty like situations, but I realized it was meant to be, dude. It was because of those situations that I am here right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
It's really bad, because like sometimes in the middle of it you're like, oh, things are not going right.
Yeah, like it's really shitty. Like I don't think this will ever be a good thing, and then you're like, wait
a minute, wait a minute.
This is why I'm here right now.
Yeah, you're gonna have it like, wait a minute, all of this worked out.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like it actually helps so much that you go through like certain things, and like life literally gives you the right thing at the right time. Yeah.
If, say, because you wanted to help people, and I want you to be able to voice
help people. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I want you to help people.
I want to help people. Yeah.
But if you had to say one thing out of this podcast on habits and what you've learned from habits, if there's something you could tell somebody who's perhaps struggling or perhaps confused, if there's one form of advice you could give them, what would it be?
I would say execution is the game. Like in terms of habit formation, execution is everything. Like if you're not executing, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? That's
Exactly.
perfect. Yeah. Other than that, I'd also say make sure you produce before you consume. Like whatever lifestyle you want, it doesn't matter. Like just make sure you're producing enough to consume it. That's pretty much
Overconsumption versus production.
Yeah, most people are just consuming and like just dying, and it's just like crazy to me. Like how could you do that?
And some people don't even care, right?
Yeah, and like a lot of the life experiences and lessons that you learn, it's like insane to me that people like are still like dying on it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa, dude, how?
It's like all the information's out there. You know how to tackle this. It's like it's all out there, but it's like it truly does come down to pain and pleasure, and that really dictates what you care about and what you don't.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, especially people who are not aware. If you're not aware, it's like, oh, this gives me pleasure, this gives me pain, but like I know I need to do something about this or think a little differently. If you're not aware of your life, it's kind of like you're like a drone. NPC.
Yeah, bot. You're a bot.
Bot life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NPC.
Like something God programmed, and you're like, yeah, run around.
Yeah.
Just-
But it's also important to have fun with life. You know what I mean? Like, sure, like this is serious. Like, and when I'm in my grind mode, I'm thinking grind is everything. But like, it's also important to enjoy your life. So like, whatever you're doing, like, have fun with it. Like, some of the memes that I have with my friends are like about NPCs and stuff like that. It's actually really funny. Yeah. So yeah, like that got me thinking. Like, yeah, just enjoy life. Like, there's so much to it.
Enjoy life, but don't teeter-totter too much on one side or the other.
Yeah. That's why I say make sure you're producing before you consume. Like, produce enough so you can consume.
Yeah, that way you get to enjoy life and at the same time make a meaningful difference.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe someday, somebody else will ask for help and they can help too.
Yeah, and they can watch this podcast and they'll be like, "Holy shit!
Oh,
Dude,
they can
so
watch.
much stuff."
They can watch this podcast. Where can they find this podcast?
Dude, if you can listen to it, it's there. Spotify, Apple Music, yeah, Apple Music. Oh, dude, YouTube.
Literally,
Should I just keep listing stuff?
TikTok? I made a TikTok account.
You made a TikTok.
I made a TikTok. You want to see a TikTok? Hold on.
What? This is like 7 seconds.
Hey guys, how's it? Just that. But hey, if you can listen to it, if you can consume it,
it's there.
It's there.
It's there. Yeah.
Any podcasting platform.
What about the video? Is that on YouTube?
That's on YouTube.
Dude, holy.
Yeah.
Dude, we're getting. Wow.
YouTube, Vimeo, other certain websites that I can't name here for family friendly content. But it's there. It's there. It's there.
Oh, okay. Well,
in
yeah.
a way, you want to be like, yo, this guy's right. He hits life just right. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, dude. I honestly think we should do podcasts on different topics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sure, it's like self-betterment, but like also like different like points in self-betterment.
How to not insult other people and still call them dumb.
Yeah, yeah, that would be sick.
Like, people are dumb, but like you don't want to make them feel bad.
Yeah, you're just like, dude,
social skills, man.
Yeah, I would just be like, dude, I agree. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, have a little eye roll and kind of look away from them at the time.
Yeah. I'd be like, I see what you're saying, but
I think another way would be better. Is like you let them down.
That's actually really good, like good communication skills.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
especially like you can't just call people dumb because then they won't want to listen to you.
You ever hear about a 6ix9ine Stupid music video?
No.
Oh my god, this guy, like, long story short, he screams stupid. It's like, are you stupid? And that's it.
Really?
Yeah. So instead of saying anything, just like play his music and maybe they'll catch on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then he went to jail, but like we don't talk about that part.
We don't talk-
Free
No.
my boy 6ix9ine.
Oh my goodness. Dude, a lot of times, like, I try to convince people, I realize it was really dumb to come at it from, like, hey, are you stupid? Like, are you stupid, dude? Like, I realized that was a really dumb frame to come at it.
Well, they want to tip that off.
Yeah, they don't want
Unfriending you on Facebook. Like, I wonder what they're doing.
Yeah, wait, that's weird.
I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
So let me help you, you stupid.
Yeah, no, but sometimes you have to hit them at, like, a deep level. Like, you have to literally, like, that's why Gary Vee swears, you know what I mean? Or Tony Robbins, they swear because like it really hits them.
Like,
it really hits them. Like
you're fucking stupid.
It's like, what are you fucking doing?
That's what.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But regardless, though, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I'm glad to be here. Like, hopefully, this helps someone out there. You know.
Man, I am glad to have you on.
Thanks, man.
And I'll definitely invite you on to future seasons.
Yeah, I'd be down.
And talk about different things.
Yeah.
But definitely check out Sai and his. What do you want to?
I guess my Medium or my Instagram. I guess my Instagram is where I'm most active on social media. So Swagger Sai.
Yeah. Oh, you got swag. You got swagger. Oh, so that's.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
So you just made the Instagram account. And you just got swag.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, yeah.
Oh, yeah, just
it's like it hits
and you just woke up the next day with a
like,
watch.
You know those? Oh yeah, dude. Like it's crazy. I woke up and I was just like, whoa, swag. Yeah, like I made the name. It's like, what do you want your name to be? It's like Swagger Sai, and it's like one of those YouTube edits, you know? It's like, whoa, and then the clothes change, and you're like, okay.
Oh yeah. It just pops. It's like, oh shoot, it's swag, bro.
Yeah,
definitely follow Sai on his platform on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, who knows, if you follow him, I hear you get 2% swagger.
Yeah, I'll give you 2%.
It just happens.
It just happens.
I'm not even making this up.
Yeah,
Ever since I started following him, I grew this beard. I'm not even,
you didn't have a beard before.
Yeah, I used to look like a prepubescent boy.
Oh, actually, a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I was like 18.
And the beard just came out.
Yeah, I liked your thing and it just popped.
Holy shit, you just press follow.
Yeah, exactly. Follow Sai.
Yeah.
And ultimately, thanks for being here. Honestly, thanks for you being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
It means the world to me that so many people are actually looking at the podcast and like, you know what, I vibe with this. Or
I'm actually thinking this is really important. Like, this is something I would want to do, but I'm also really busy. But like, I still want to do this.
I want to do this, but like, I'm going to have a podcast if I don't have time for it. Well, you call me. You let me know. Yeah,
and he'd hit you up. If you're interested in talking about some really important stuff, that'd be dope.
Yeah, and thank you for listening to this episode. Again, the entire episode as well as future episodes in the podcast can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can hear it. You can hear me. Stay subscribed and stay followed on all the social medias. And on top of that, I actually made an Instagram account for the Self Betterment Project. And I'm making
Every social media.
I'm dominating
TikTok.
everything.
TikTok.
Hit me up on TikTok. That's what I want to see. 7-second videos, man.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I hope all of you guys take care and build the best life that you can day by day. Remember to enjoy life, but don't be so enjoyable that you forget what's truly important. At the end of the day, keep building your own self-betterment project. My name is Adnan Azad, usually known as This Is Ad, and my guest, Sai. Thank you for being here.
Peace, guys.
Peace, guys. I think that's good. I should start using that. Peace, guys.
I don't know. I just said it. Peace.
And don't call people stupid. That's the basic.
Yeah. Don't do that. Not a good idea.
And that's it. That's a wrap.
Oh, that's awesome. We killed it. Good shit, dude. Nice.